Here's a bite-sized research summary, read aloud for you to enjoy on the go. This podcast is brought to you by the English Language Institute of Singapore. I'm Victoria Ong. This episode will summarize the paper entitled Predicting Singapore Students' Achievement Goals in Their English Study, Self-construal and Classroom Goal Structure. This paper was written by Wenshu Luo, David Hogan, and Scott Paris. The paper was published in 2011 in the Learning and Individual Differences journal. What's the background for this paper? Prior research has shown that the type of goals students adopt affect whether they focus on subject learning or on competing with their fellow students, or whether they avoid both these possibilities. What was the aim of the study? The study examined classroom practices in Singapore secondary schools and how these practices affected students' learning of English in terms of their achievement goal orientations. The study looked at classroom goal structure and self-construal, that is, whether students defined themselves independently or interdependently in relation to others. What was the sample for this study? There were 1,496 students from 30 schools and 104 classes who participated in this study. How did the authors carry out this study? The authors administered a survey to students. The survey was used to measure the following. First, personal achievement goals. Second, classroom goal structure. Third, self-construal or valuing personal uniqueness and independence. And fourth, their English self-concept. The authors analyzed the power of classroom goal structure and self-construal in predicting the types of personal achievement goals. Now, what were the findings of this research? The authors found that classrooms with a mastery goal structure promoted the adoption of a mastery approach and avoidance goals, while classrooms with a performance focus fostered the adoption of a performance approach and avoidance goals. That is, students in classrooms that focused on mastering what was to be learned tended to concentrate on learning the content and were concerned about failing to learn well. In contrast, students in classrooms that focused on students competing with each other tended to concentrate on whether they performed better than their classmates and wanted to avoid appearing incompetent in front of their classmates and teachers. Students who defined themselves in relation to others tended to focus on learning content well and were afraid of not mastering the content, while students who defined themselves as separate from others focused on performing better than their peers and on avoiding unfavorable judgments on their ability. Students who avoided unfavorable judgments on their ability also had relatively low English self-concept. What were the implications of this study? The classroom goal structure, transmitted by classroom instructional practices, does seem to predict students' achievement goals. Therefore, to help students have both mastery and performance achievement goals, teachers might have to adopt a combination of approaches. A mastery goal structure promoting a learning environment signals to students that learning is important and that they can be successful if they work hard. A performance goal structure conveys to students that being successful is demonstrating higher ability than others and getting extrinsic rewards for performance. This episode's research summary looked at the paper entitled Predicting Singapore Students' Achievement Goals in Their English Study, Self-construal and Classroom Goal Structure, written by Wenshu Luo, David Hogan, and Scott Paris. You can read more about this study in the Learning and Individual Differences journal. My name is Victoria Ong. Thank you for listening.